The text message lit up my phone at 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Bro, we need to talk. Now. My best friend Marcus never texted like that. I sat up in bed, heart already racing, and called him back. He answered on the first ring. Kevin, man. His voice was tight. Sarah told me something tonight. About you. About what happened between you two. The way he said it, I knew I was in trouble. My hands started shaking from the realization that someone I'd cared about, someone I'd trusted, had just tried to destroy my life with a lie. Marcus, whatever she said. She said you forced her. Sexually. That you made her touch you when she didn't want to. That's not true. That never happened. Nothing between us was ever forced. Nothing. Silence stretched between us. Then Marcus exhaled hard. Yeah, I know. I don't believe her, man. But I needed to hear you say it. My name is Kevin. I'm 24 years old. And this is the story of how a lie almost destroyed everything I'd built. 3 months earlier, everything had seemed fine. Normal, even. Sarah and I had been dating for almost 2 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party in Austin, Texas. She was studying psychology at UT. I was working as a junior software developer at a startup downtown. We clicked immediately. Or so I thought. The relationship wasn't perfect. No relationship is. We argued sometimes about stupid things. She'd get jealous when I hung out with female co-workers. I'd get frustrated when she'd go silent for days instead of talking through problems. But we worked through it. At least, I thought we were working through it. The physical side of our relationship developed naturally. We took things slow at first. She set the pace, and I followed her lead. Every step forward was something we both wanted, something we both initiated. Our sex was consensual. Always. When she broke up with me in September, I was blindsided. We were sitting in my apartment, watching some forgettable Netflix show, when she suddenly paused it and turned to me. I think we should break up. Just like that. What? Why? I asked, completely thrown. She wouldn't look at me. I just don't feel it anymore. I think we want different things. I tried to understand, tried to get her to explain, but she kept it vague. Said she needed space. Said it wasn't working. Said she was sorry. I didn't beg. I didn't plead. I just nodded and told her I understood, even though I didn't. Before she left, I said, we can still be friends, right? I don't want to lose you completely. She smiled then. A small, sad smile. Yeah. Of course. That was the last normal conversation we ever had. For 2 weeks after the breakup, things were quiet. I threw myself into work, spent more time with Marcus and my other friends, tried to move on. Sarah and I didn't talk much, but that seemed natural. You need space after a breakup. Then Marcus called me that Tuesday night, and everything changed. After he told me about Sarah's accusation, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my brain racing through every memory, every moment, every interaction we'd ever had. Had I misread something? Had there been a moment where she felt pressured and I didn't notice? I replayed everything obsessively, searching for the truth in my own memories. But I knew. Deep in my bones, I knew nothing had been forced. Every intimate moment we'd shared had been mutual. She'd initiated things as often as I had. She'd been enthusiastic, engaged, present. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a deliberate lie. But why? The next morning, I texted Marcus. Did she say why she's doing this? Did I do something to piss her off? His response came 20 minutes later. She didn't really explain. Just said she needed to tell someone the truth. She was crying when she told me. Crying. She was crying while lying about me. That detail made my blood run cold. This wasn't just a casual accusation thrown out in anger. This was calculated. Performed. She was building a narrative, and I was the villain. I wanted to confront her immediately. To demand she take it back, to scream at her for lying, to make her admit the truth. But something stopped me. Marcus didn't believe her. He knew me well enough to know I wasn't capable of that. But who else would she tell? And would they believe me or her? In cases like this, the accused almost always loses. Even if proven innocent, the stain remains. The whisper follows you. People remember the accusation, not the exoneration. I needed to be smart about this. Strategic. Because if she decided to go public, if she told more people or went to the police, my life would be over before I even had a chance to defend myself. That's when I started documenting everything. I opened a folder on my laptop and labeled it Evidence. Inside, I created a timeline of our entire relationship. Every date, every text exchange, every interaction I could remember. I went through my phone and took screenshots of our old messages. Conversations where she'd been affectionate, where she'd initiated plans, where she talked about our physical relationship positively. I wasn't trying to embarrass her or violate her privacy. I was trying to protect myself from a lie that could destroy me. One text exchange stood out. From about 6 months into our relationship. Sarah, last night was amazing. I love how comfortable I feel with you. Me, same. You know you can always tell me if something's not okay, right? Sarah, I know. That's why I love you. You always make sure I'm good. I stared at that exchange for a long time. This was the same person now claiming I'd forced her. How does someone go from that to this? Over the next few days, I quietly reached out to mutual friends. Not to tell them what Sarah had said, just to feel out the situation. Had she told anyone else? Was there gossip I needed to know about? Everyone seemed normal. No one treated me differently. No one asked weird questions or gave me strange looks. Relief washed over me. Maybe she'd only told Marcus. Maybe it would stay contained. But I couldn't shake the anxiety. Every time my phone buzzed, I thought it might be someone confronting me. Every time I saw a mutual friend, I wondered if they knew. The weight of the lie sat on my chest like a stone. 2 weeks after Marcus's call, he texted me again. Sarah reached out. She apologized. Said she was going through something and shouldn't have said what she said. She asked me not to tell anyone. I read that message 5 times. She apologized. She admitted she lied. But she asked Marcus not to tell anyone, which meant she didn't want me to know she'd recanted. She wanted to control the narrative, to take back her lie privately while leaving me in limbo publicly. Did she say why she lied? I texted back. Not really. Just said she was confused and hurt and said things she didn't mean. Confused and hurt. As if those words excused accusing someone of sexual assault. I felt a mix of relief and rage. Relief that she'd admitted the lie, that Marcus had confirmation I was telling the truth. Rage that she thought a quiet apology to one person was enough. That she didn't understand the damage she'd almost done. Are you going to tell her you told me? I asked Marcus. Not unless you want me to. I thought about it. Part of me wanted to confront her, to demand a real apology, to make her understand what she'd put me through. But another part of me just wanted it to be over. Wanted to move on and never think about her again. No, I finally replied. Let it go. As long as she's not spreading it around, I just want to be done with this. Marcus sent back a thumbs up. I thought that was the end of it. I thought I could finally breathe again, finally stop looking over my shoulder, finally stop wondering when the other shoe would drop. I was wrong. 4 months later, I ran into Jessica, one of Sarah's close friends, at a coffee shop in downtown Austin. We'd always gotten along well when Sarah and I were dating. Jessica was funny, direct, and fiercely loyal to her friends. When she saw me, she waved and walked over. Kevin. Hey, how are you? Good, yeah. Just grabbing coffee before work. You? We made small talk for a minute, the usual post-breakup awkwardness of running into your ex's friends. Then Jessica's expression shifted. She glanced around like she was checking to see if anyone was listening. Can I ask you something? She said quietly. My stomach tightened. Sure. Did Sarah ever talk to you about issues she was having? Like, mental health stuff? I blinked. That wasn't what I'd expected. Not really. I mean, she gets stressed about school sometimes, but nothing major. Why? Jessica bit her lip. She's dating this guy now, Ryan. And she's been telling people he's abusive. That he manipulates her, pressures her into things she doesn't want to do. The coffee shop noise faded to white static. But here's the thing, Jessica continued, looking genuinely troubled. I've met Ryan. Multiple times. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Super respectful, always checking in with her, giving her space when she needs it. And the stuff she's saying about him doesn't match reality at all. My hands tightened around my coffee cup. What kind of stuff is she saying? That he forces her to spend time with his friends when she doesn't want to. That he guilt trips her into staying over at his place. That he won't let her have her own opinions. Each accusation landed like a punch. Because I'd heard versions of this before. Slightly different details, but the same underlying theme. Sarah positioning herself as the victim, painting someone who cared about her as an abuser. Jessica, I said carefully, Did Sarah ever say anything like that about me? When we were together? She hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. She mentioned a few times that you could be controlling. That you didn't like when she hung out with certain people. My jaw clenched. That's not true. I never told her who she could or couldn't see. If anything, she was the one who got jealous when I spent time with friends. Jessica studied my face for a long moment. Yeah, I'm starting to realize that. We stood there in uncomfortable silence, both processing what this meant. Why are you telling me this? I finally asked. Because Ryan's a good guy, and I don't want to see him go through what I think you might have gone through. And because. She paused, choosing her words carefully. Because I think Sarah needs help. Real help. Not from friends trying to support her through drama, but from a professional. This pattern isn't normal. After Jessica left, I sat in that coffee shop for another hour, my coffee going cold, my mind racing. Sarah was doing it again. To someone else. Building a false narrative, casting herself as the victim, weaponizing accusations that could destroy someone's reputation, career, life. And this time, I had confirmation I wasn't crazy. That it wasn't just me. That the lie she told about me was part of a pattern. But what could I do about it? I didn't know Ryan. I'd never met him. And what was I supposed to do? Message a stranger and say, "Hey, your girlfriend accused me of sexual assault once, just thought you should know?" That wouldn't help anyone. It would just make me look vindictive, like a bitter ex trying to sabotage Sarah's new relationship. Still, the knowledge sat heavy in my chest. Someone else was going through what I'd gone through. Someone else was being lied about, manipulated, positioned as an abuser when all they'd done was care about the wrong person. That night, I called Marcus. "I ran into Jessica today," I said. "Sarah's doing it again. To her new boyfriend." Doing what again? Lying. Making up abuse that isn't happening. Telling people he's forcing her to do things, manipulating her, all the same shit she tried to pin on me. Marcus was quiet for a beat. "Man, that's fucked up. Jessica doesn't believe her this time. She's seen them together, knows the guy, and says Sarah's version of events doesn't match reality. So what are you going to do?" That was the question, wasn't it? What could I do? "Nothing," I said finally. "There's nothing I can do without making things worse. I don't know this Ryan guy. I don't have any connection to their relationship. And if I try to warn him, I just look like the jealous ex." "Yeah, probably," Marcus agreed. "But man, it's gotta eat at you knowing she's doing this to someone else." It did. God, it did. But I also knew that sometimes the only way to win is to walk away. To protect yourself and let other people figure out their own truths. Still, I couldn't completely let it go. Over the next few weeks, I quietly reached out to a few more mutual friends. Not to gossip or spread rumors, but to feel out whether anyone else had noticed Sarah's pattern. Whether I was the only one seeing it. Turns out, I wasn't. One friend, David, mentioned that Sarah had accused an ex-boyfriend before me of being emotionally manipulative. Another friend, Rachel, said Sarah had once told her that her college roommate had stolen her identity and opened credit cards in her name, a claim that was later proven false. The pattern was there. Sarah created dramas, positioned herself as the victim, and when people started questioning her stories, she'd quietly backtrack or move on to a new narrative. I wasn't just dealing with someone who'd lied about me once. I was dealing with someone who had a documented history of false accusations. That realization was both validating and terrifying. Validating because it confirmed I wasn't crazy, that my experience was part of something bigger. Terrifying because it meant Sarah was capable of real damage, and there was no telling when or if she'd stop. But here's what I learned through all of this: you can't control what other people say about you. You can't force someone to tell the truth. You can only control how you respond. I could have gone scorched earth. Could have posted our text messages publicly, could have told everyone about the lie, could have tried to destroy her credibility the way she tried to destroy mine. But that would have made me just as bad. That would have turned me into the person she'd falsely accused me of being, someone who hurts others to protect themselves. Instead, I chose documentation. I chose truth. I chose to quietly protect myself while refusing to weaponize her lies. 6 months after the initial accusation, I was finally able to breathe again. Sarah and Ryan had broken up. According to Jessica, he'd figured out on his own that Sarah's accusations didn't match reality. He'd walked away clean, reputation intact, no public drama. My career was thriving. I'd been promoted to senior developer at my company. I'd started dating again, cautiously, with better boundaries and clearer communication. Marcus and I were stronger than ever. The whole experience had actually deepened our friendship, proved that he had my back when it mattered most. And Sarah? Last I heard, she'd moved to Dallas. Started therapy, according to one mutual friend. Whether that was true or another story she was telling, I didn't know and didn't care. I never got a real apology from her. Never got acknowledgement of what she'd put me through, what she tried to take from me. But I got something better. I got my life back. I got my truth. I got to move forward without the weight of her lie crushing me. One night, about a year after everything happened, Marcus and I were grabbing beers at our favorite spot in Austin. "You ever think about what you'd say to her if you saw her again?" he asked. I'd thought about it. More times than I could count. Honestly? Nothing. There's nothing to say. She knows what she did. I know what she did. And anyone who matters knows the truth. Marcus raised his beer. To moving on. To moving on, I echoed. Because that's the thing about false accusations. They're designed to trap you, to define you, to make you spend the rest of your life defending yourself against something that never happened. But you don't have to accept that trap. You can choose truth over revenge. You can choose documentation over destruction. You can choose to walk forward instead of looking back. My name is Kevin Chen. Someone I trusted tried to destroy me with a lie. But the lie didn't win. The truth did. Not because I shouted it from rooftops, but because I lived it quietly, consistently, and let my character speak louder than her accusations. And today? I'm building a life defined not by what someone said about me, but by who I actually am. That's not revenge. That's freedom. 3 months ago, I got an unexpected message on LinkedIn. Ryan. Sarah's ex-boyfriend. The one Jessica had told me about. "Hey Kevin, I know this is random, but Jessica gave me your info. Said you might understand what I went through with Sarah. Would you be open to grabbing coffee?" I stared at that message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it, to keep that chapter of my life closed. But another part of me remembered what it felt like to be alone in that experience, to wonder if I was crazy, to have no one who truly understood. I agreed to meet him. We met at the same coffee shop where I'd run into Jessica. Ryan was tall, athletic, with the kind of easy smile that made you instantly trust him. He shook my hand firmly and we settled into a corner table. "Thanks for meeting me," he started. "I wasn't sure if you'd respond." Honestly, I almost didn't. It's not exactly my favorite topic. He nodded, understanding in his eyes. "Jessica told me Sarah accused you of something serious. Something that wasn't true." I took a sip of my coffee, choosing my words carefully. "She told my best friend I'd forced her sexually. It was a complete lie. Nothing between us was ever non-consensual." Ryan's jaw tightened. "She told her friends I was emotionally abusive. That I controlled who she could see, that I manipulated her into staying with me, that I made her feel unsafe." None of it true. None of it. If anything, I bent over backwards to make sure she felt comfortable and respected. I'd check in constantly about boundaries, about whether she was happy, whether she needed anything. And somehow that got twisted into me being controlling. We sat in silence for a moment, two men connected by the same lie told in different variations. "How did you handle it?" Ryan asked. "When you found out what she was saying?" I documented everything. Saved text messages, created a timeline, quietly gathered evidence without making it public. And I told the truth to people who mattered. My best friend believed me, and that was enough to stop it from spreading. "I wish I'd done that," Ryan said quietly. By the time I realized what she was saying, it had already spread through our mutual friend group. Half of them think I'm some kind of monster. My chest tightened with familiar anger. Not at Ryan, but at the situation. At the casual cruelty of false accusations, at how easily someone's reputation could be shredded based on lies. "Have you thought about addressing it publicly?" I asked. "Setting the record straight." "Every day. But my lawyer advised against it. Said it would just make things worse, make me look defensive. Better to let it fade and move on." His lawyer. The fact that he'd needed legal advice for something he didn't do made my stomach turn. "Jessica said Sarah's doing this to other people too," Ryan continued. "That it's a pattern." Yeah. I heard the same thing. Accusations against ex-boyfriends, roommates, even family members. Always positioning herself as the victim. "Have you ever thought about warning people? Like, is there a way to put it out there so her future boyfriends know what they're getting into?" I thought about it countless times. Creating some kind of anonymous post, reaching out to people in her circle, something to prevent this from happening again. I admitted. But there's no way to do it without looking vindictive. Without it seeming like I'm the bitter ex trying to sabotage her. And honestly, at some point you have to let people learn their own lessons. Ryan nodded slowly. Yeah. I get that. It just sucks knowing someone else is probably going through this right now. We talked for another hour. Compared notes, shared stories, found comfort in the fact that we weren't alone or crazy. That our experiences, as painful as they were real and valid. Before we left, Ryan said something that stuck with me. You know what the worst part is? It's not even the lie itself. It's how it makes you question everything. Every relationship, every interaction, every moment of intimacy. You start wondering if you misread something, if you did something wrong, if maybe you're the problem. I knew exactly what he meant. I'd spent months doing that same spiral of self-doubt. But you're not the problem, I told him. And neither am I. We both cared about someone who wasn't capable of being honest. That's not our fault. As I drove home that day, I felt something shift. The anger I'd been carrying, the resentment, the fear, it started to loosen its grip. Because meeting Ryan reminded me that this story wasn't really about Sarah. It wasn't about the lie or the accusation or the betrayal. It was about choosing truth when lies would be easier. About choosing integrity when vindication would feel better. About choosing to move forward when looking back would feel justified. Last week, I went on a third date with someone new. Her name is Monica, and she's a graphic designer with a laugh that makes my whole day better. At the end of the night, she asked me about my last serious relationship. I could have lied. Could have glossed over it, said it just didn't work out, avoided the whole mess. But I didn't. My ex accused me of something I didn't do, I said carefully. Something serious. It was handled privately, and the people who mattered knew the truth. But it taught me a lot about honesty and boundaries. Monica looked at me for a long moment. That must have been terrifying. It was. But it also made me a better person. More careful with trust, more intentional with communication, more aware of my own actions. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Thank you for telling me. That moment, that simple acknowledgement, felt like closing a door on the past and opening a window to the future. Because here's what I've learned, false accusations don't have to define you. They can refine you. They can teach you who your real friends are, what true character looks like, and how to stand in your truth even when lies surround you. My name is Kevin Chen. Someone I love tried to destroy me with a lie. But the lie didn't stick. Not because I fought it publicly, not because I burned bridges or sought revenge, but because I chose quiet truth over loud defense. I chose documentation over drama. I chose integrity over vindication. I chose to let my character speak louder than her accusations. And today, I'm not defined by what she said about me. I'm defined by how I responded when it mattered most. That's not just survival. That's victory. The kind of victory that doesn't need an audience. The kind that happens in the quiet moments when you look in the mirror and know, without a doubt, that you did the right thing. And that's worth more than any public vindication ever could be.